Hi everyone, I am here for my final update for the Networked Learning Project for EP 810. For this project, we were asked to learn a new skill using only YouTube videos and help forums to help us. And this goes along with Richardson's reading that we did regarding using 21st century styles of learning, and that educators need to learn how to use the internet for new skills, as well as teach their students to use the internet for problem-solving skills, critical thinking, and just retrieving information. So I thought it was a great opportunity to learn something new, and I chose to do the lowercase letters of calligraphy, and I'll do the uppercase and punctuation later, but I wanted to start with something a little smaller. For this project, I used mainly YouTube videos to figure it out because it helped me visually understand where the strokes were, but there's many help forums out there for you too. I'm going to start with materials. So I use this calligraphy pen, and it already has the ink inside of it, which I thought was a lot more helpful than a calligraphy pen that you had to dip to begin with. You can also use brush pens or markers. There's many things out there for you. You're also going to need paper, and as you can see here, I made a lot of mistakes, and my letters are very inconsistent and different angles for this paper. You can see where I started doing handwriting instead of calligraphy because mentally that's just what I wanted to do. I got a little bit better as I went on to my second try, but again, my letters are inconsistent in size and angle, and same with this, which is just a different style of calligraphy that I tried doing. It looks a lot neater with the lined paper, so I would definitely suggest using lined paper as a beginner because you'll get those lines to guide the size and shape of your letters. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do the letters A through J for you and just give you an idea of what I've been working on the past few weeks. So the first thing you'll see here is I practiced doing strokes to begin with before I even started letters. So you'll see thin lines and thick lines and just doing basic strokes first to help you out. Then I went into my letters. The A, I started this middle line, knowing this top one is here for me to help with the taller letters like B, F, H, and all of those other ones. So I'm going to start with a thick line, thin line down, thick line, thin line up, thick line going down, and thin line coming out. The B, I'll start up here with a thin line and thick line coming down. Notice how I started at this top line because once again, it's a taller letter. I picked up my pen but kept the same angle so that I can get another thin line, thick line, and thin line that comes in. The C was a little tricky for me at first because when I was doing those curves, the thin lines and thick lines looked very, very similar when I first began, so that would be something to look out for. The D starts the same way as the C, and then you come back up, but you have to kind of change the angle of your pen because it's the opposite of the B, where the thin line is first, comes up, and goes into that thick line. The E is pretty simple. You just do a thin line that curves into a thicker one, and then thin again at the end. The F, it takes up 3 lines actually because in calligraphy it goes from the top line all the way to the bottom. So you start with a big stroke that goes all the way to that bottom line and curves around into a thinner stroke. Then you cross over with thin, thick, and thin lines. The G starts the same way as the C and the D with a line that curves at the bottom like the F does. The H actually starts like the B, where you do that thin line with a thick line, pick your pen up, make a thin line, thick, and thin. The I is pretty simple, where you just do a thin, thick, thin, and the dot is actually just a thin line. The J is very similar to the I, except it goes into that bottom part like the G does, and then you make the dot with the skinny line. So as you can see here, my lines have gotten a lot better. You can see the thin and thick lines now, and it just makes it easier after you've practiced many times. So please check out my blog post for the different YouTube links that I've been using. I really think these would help, and I hope that this helped you if you want to start calligraphy too.